All right, this is a custom arrangement that I wrote of Auld Lang Syne for solo guitar. You could do this on the acoustic guitar, but I think it's more fun on the electric. You can use some of these effects that we're using and do some volume swells that we'll get into here in the lesson. For tone, I've got it on my neck pickup. I've got a little compression on there, quite a bit of delay, eighth note triplet delay. We're at 78 BPM, a little bit of reverb, and then some tremolo with a pretty good depth, eighth note triplet tremolo. All right, so let's just dive right into the lesson here. Again, we're at 78 beats per minute. If you're wanting to practice any of these individual lines with a metronome, if you're having trouble with any of them, that's always a good idea. Just start it. You could even start it at 50 BPM, just kind of work your way up nice and slow. So this first intro riff looks like this. 1, 2, go. All right, I'm kind of volume swelling through this whole thing here. We're going to start with the volume fully cranked. If you've got a Telecaster or another guitar where the volume knob is reachable, you can do it with your pinky. If not, you can get a volume pedal or something like that. Or if you don't have access to any of that, you can just do it without the volume swells. So this is all double stops. We're coming in full volume and then swelling in this D double stop here. So we've got 14 and 14 of G and the high E string. We're going to mute that B string, slide it down to 12 each, and then we go to 11 and 10, and we're going to swell that in. Just want to make sure that B string is muted. Then we're going to go down here, G string, 5th fret, high E, G string is 7th fret, high E string is 5th fret, B string is muted, swell that in, then go down to 2 and 2 of G and high E. And then we've got 4 and 3, 4 of G, 3 of high E. And then just the 7th fret of B, and make sure that G and the E string is muted. And then we're going to come down here, bar the 3rd fret of G, B, and E, and then put your ring finger on the 5th fret of B and swell that in. Got a little diminished sound there to get us into the melody. So then the kind of melody of Auld Lang Syne starts, and the first line will look like this. 1, 2, go. All right, let's get just that much. Starting open A string. And then we've got a D triad, or D, it's actually a D power chord. Open, 2, 3, starting on the D string. So we have open A, then 2 more on the D string, slide up 2 to 4, and then cluck. So I'm using my pick on the D string and my fingers on the G and B string. So we've got 2 of G, 3 of B. From the top, it's pick, cluck, and then back down 4 to 2 with open A string. Okay, and then open D to 2, and then back up to 4, slide down to 2, open D, A, D, 2, 4, 5th fret of A, 2nd fret of G, and then open D, 2 of G, 3 of B, and we're going to hammer onto the 4th fret of G. And then reach over with your thumb, grab that 3rd fret of low E, and come back and pick that. So one more time, here's that first line. 2, 3, 4, go. Okay, next line is going to look like this. All right, and then we're through the melody one time. Then we're gonna move up the register a little bit and do it a little higher. So where we left off was we had just reached over with our thumb. Then we've got the 4th fret of B with a little half bend. Sorry, 4th fret of G with a little half bend. And back down. And then we're to open D string, 2nd fret of G. And then bar the 2nd fret of D and G, and we're going to hammer on twice to the 4th fret of D. And I'm going to pick it on the D string and cluck it on the G string with my finger. And then a quick slide, 4, 2, and pull off to open. And then we've got the open A string, 2nd fret of D, to open D, and over to 2nd fret. Then 2, 4 open real quick. 2, 4 open on D. And then right after that run, we're going to put our finger on the 3rd fret of low E, this G note. So you let that ring, put your finger on the 3rd fret of E. Then we have 2 of A. And then a quick 3, 2 open on the A string. And then open D. And that's that whole line. So let's do it right from the top of the melody there, okay? 2, 3, 4. All right, now we're getting into the 2nd time through the melody, and we'll start with this. Or you could go. All right, so let's get just that much. So we're coming in with this little riff. Let's get just that much. We're on the 7th fret of A. Pull off to 5, 7 to 9, then 7 of D, one more time, to 9, and then open D string, 7th fret of G. 2 more on that 7th fret. Now 9th fret of G, 10th fret of high E, picking the G string, clucking with our finger that high E string, then just hit the A string open. Sorry, you gotta, that's the kind of a tricky one. You gotta hit the A string and just resolve this bend like this. We're not, after we pick and cluck it, we're not doing anything to it again. We're just kind of resolving it. We come down on that G string, and the pinky finger moves from 10 to 9 on that high E string. So. That's what we want to do. And then you can go down to 7 on both of those strings. And then back up to 9. And then we have this move. So we get back here, 9 and 10. 9 of G, 10 of high E with a quick bend and back down. And then back to 7 on G, and then one more pick there. That's our next riff, all right? So we drop all the way down to 2 here, 2 to 4 to 2. Then here's the kind of key of this riff is going 4 all the way up to 9 of the D string. Then 7 to 9 of G. Then up to 9 of G, 10 of B, and then 12 of B, a bend and a half. So here we want to get all the way up to this note. Come back down, and your ring finger's already right there, and we're going to do a double stop on the 12th fret for G and B. All right, and then we're going to be on this 12th fret of B, little half bend, and then we're going to pick the D string open and cluck with our finger the 10th fret of B, and then reset our fingers here for 9 and 10 of G and B, and we're going to hammer on to 11 of G. Do that twice. And now a quick slide, 11, 9, 7 on the G string. Then pick the A string, and we've got 9 of G, 8 of B, down to 7 of G and B, then back to 9, 8, and then up 2 frets each, back down, and then 5 of D and G of 7. And the last little riff through this pass of the melody is this. Okay, so key of D here, you can think of this position 5 pentatonic, and we're doing bar the 7th fret of D and G, 2 quick hammer-ons to 9 of D, And then this next time, pull it back off, and then 10 of A, and then 7th fret of A and D, up to 9 of A, back down, and slide down to 5, and then just a D bar chord. That's 5, 7, 7, 7. And now we're to the refrain. So this line is going to look like this. All right, let's get just that much. So we got 10 and 10 of B and high E. We're going to swell this in with a bend on the B string, a whole bend. Back down. Then 10 and 9 of B and G. And we're going to hammer on to 11 of G. Down to 7 of G. Then 9 of G. Open low E. 10 of A. 7 of D. And back to 9 of G. Now think of this minor bar chord shape, right? We're on an F sharp minor here. So that's 9, 11, 11, and 10. We're going to think of that position. Get your middle finger, slide up 9 to 12 on B. Then go back to the minor bar chord. Then a D major bar chord. F sharp minor again. And then a G major 7, which is 10, 12, 11, 12. Then with just your pointer finger on the A string, 9, 10. And then we have this shape, 11 of A, D, 12th fret, and 10 of G, 12 of B. So that whole thing is. All right, then we have this A over D, D over A, which is open A string. And then we have 12th fret of D, 11th fret of G, 10th fret of B. And then this is repetition here. That's exactly how we ended the second pass of the melody. And you'll see in the tabs, again, right beneath the video player at sixstringcountry.com, it's played exactly the same way. So after we get to this D over A, now we have this tag. We're just going to repeat that last line again, and we're going to do the same bend on 10 and 10 of B and E, back down, and this same movement that we just did. That's all the same, but now we're going to end it like this. Okay, that's just a little different. So we're starting on the D string, 5, 7, 8. Pick through that, then pick the 7th fret of B, 5th fret of B, 7th fret of G, and then this same thing we did here with the double stop on D and G, 7th fret, hammer on to 9 of G, 9 of D, off, and then over to the 10th fret of A, and then the D and A string, 7th fret, hammer onto the A string, 9th fret, back down and slide down to 5, and this time add in the 7th fret of low E, and then the D bar chord. But that last little part is we're going to use a retard and just kind of slowly be decreasing our tempo. And that is the whole arrangement. So the nice thing about video, you can go back, watch any section that you are having trouble with over and over as many times as you want. You can use the looper at sixstringcountry.com. You can slow the tempo down at sixstringcountry.com. And you can pull up the tabs. And with all those tools, hopefully you're able to get the arrangement. And when you're ready, again, it's at 78 beats per minute, and you can play right along with that jam along video.